Welcome to Inside Insight, your quick hit of tips, tools, and trends for manufacturing, distribution, and Dynamics 365 Business Central. Brought to you by InsightWorks.
Right. Let's unpack this. You know that sinking feeling when, essential equipment suddenly fails?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for that.
Whether it's a critical machine stopping production or, a delivery truck breaking down, or even just the HVAC system conking out, it can really throw a wrench in the works.
Absolutely. It causes chaos.
But what if you could get a better handle on preventing some of that? Maybe within a system you're, already using.
Well, that's what's interesting here. For companies already on Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central, a more proactive way to handle maintenance might actually be right there.
Right.
So today we're doing a deep dive into managing those maintenance work orders efficiently, specifically using the Maintenance Manager app from InsightWorks. The sources we looked at suggest it's built to streamline things, directly inside BC.
Exactly. And our goal, really, is to give you a clear, kind of concise understanding of how this works, and probably more importantly, why these practices matter.
Yeah, the why is key.
We want to offer up some practical insights so you can see the actual benefits, keeping equipment running smoothly.
And if you think about the core problems businesses face, it's about moving away from just reacting, constantly putting out fires,
Right, the reactive trap.
and shifting towards strategically planning maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
The source material really pushes this idea that a structured approach within Business Central, it isn't just about fixing stuff. It's about making your assets last longer, being proactive.
And let's face it, unexpected breakdowns, they really hit the bottom line, don't they?
Oh, definitely.
Lost production, rush repair costs, it all adds up fast. The article we reviewed really emphasizes how having a system can cut down on those costly surprises.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, you get clear documentation out of it, helps with accountability for the technicians.
And that brings up a good point.
Mm.
How well are your current maintenance processes linked with, say, inventory or production planning?
Yeah, are they siloed?
Exactly. The source highlights that this Maintenance Manager tool, it's designed to connect seamlessly with those existing Business Central functions. That integration, it can make the whole operation much more efficient, more aligned.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. This app, it basically turns your Business Central system into a proper CMMS, a computerized maintenance management system.
That's the idea, yeah.
And it does that by directly linking your asset data, your work centers, your inventory, all to the specific maintenance tasks needed.
Correct.
So for folks already comfortable in Business Central, how do they actually, get started with this maintenance manager?
Well, according to the source, the first step sounds pretty straightforward. You just locate and install the Maintenance Manager by InsightWorks app. It's on Microsoft App Stores.
Just search that name.
Yep, search Maintenance Manager by InsightWorks,
Yeah.
and it should pop right up.
And that sounds like it installs quickly, like one click. That's always nice. No big IT project just to get going.
Precisely. Quick install. Then, once it's in, the source really stresses using the Setup Wizard. You find it in the Maintenance Manager menu inside BC.
A setup wizard, okay.
And what's helpful is that this wizard, it apparently pre-fills a lot of the initial setup stuff, number series, templates, that kind of thing.
So it smooths the onboarding, even if you're not like a CMMS expert already.
That seems to be the goal.
Yeah.
Simplify the initial setup. The article actually suggests as a best practice, running that wizard first. Before you start tweaking things manually. Get the foundation right.
Makes sense. Build from a solid base. So you run the wizard. What comes next? How do you manage the actual work?
Right, so then you get into the core steps. It starts with creating the maintenance tasks themselves.
Okay.
And the source breaks these down. You've got corrective tasks for, unexpected breakdowns, then preventive tasks, the recurring stuff, and also template-based tasks, which help keep things consistent.
So preventive could be time-based, like monthly checks.
Yeah.
Or usage-based.
Yeah.
Exactly. Time-based, like every quarter. Or based on usage could be output units, runtime hours, even distance or mileage for vehicles.
And you define the details, like the steps involved.
Yep. You define the frequency, the routing, which is the sequence of steps for the tech, the bill of materials, so what parts or tools are needed.
Ah,
And, of course, which specific piece of equipment the task applies to.
got it.
The source gives an example, like scheduling alignment checks every 100 output units. And you could bulk assign that task to, say, all your lathes and forklifts.
And you do that on what they call the Maintenance Manager task card.
That's the one. That task card is where you define the what, the how often, and the which assets, basically setting up your maintenance plan.
Okay, tasks defined. But how does the system actually schedule the work? You don't want someone manually creating work orders every time, right? That defeats the purpose.
Exactly. No, that's where the planning worksheet comes into play. The source describes it as, like, the central hub for scheduling maintenance within Business Central. The command center for maintenance planning?
Kind of, yeah. It automates creating the work orders based on those tasks you set up. And, what we've seen anecdotally is companies using this kind of proactive planning. They often report way fewer emergency calls, frees up techs for the planned stuff.
So the worksheet looks at the tasks, sees which ones are due based on the intervals you set.
Right, based on intervals being met. Or you can use it to plan for a specific time window, like generate all work orders for next month.
Oh, neat. Like batch planning.
Yeah, or bulk create orders for all your monthly inspections, things like that. Duration-based tasks.
And it just creates them automatically. Or do you get a chance to look them over?
Good question. No, it proposes them first. The planning worksheet suggests the work orders, and then you review them. Make any tweaks if needed, then you release them to the team.
So there's a review step.
Mm-hmm. And a common best practice mention is generating those preventive orders, say, monthly. Gives the technicians a clear view of what's coming up.
Okay, reviewed and released. Now they're actual maintenance orders. The article says they're like production orders, but for maintenance. What info is on them?
They contain quite a bit. References back to the task and the specific equipment, obviously. They show the scheduled interval and track the actual interval when it gets done.
So you see plan versus actual?
Yep. Timestamps for when work starts and stops. Details on any parts or items consumed from inventory. And that's step-by-step routing for the technician.
Sounds comprehensive.
It really provides full traceability, which the source emphasizes. Scheduling, execution, logging parts, auditing, it's all captured. You see it on the Maintenance Manager order screen.
That traceability sounds crucial. For tracking, accountability, even compliance maybe. Now, earlier you mentioned linking equipment to tasks. How does that connection actually happen in the system?
So you go to the equipment item itself in Business Central, like the record for forklift 001, and you directly link the relevant maintenance tasks to it.
Okay, straight on the item card.
Exactly. And what's quite powerful, the source notes, is tracking maintenance across multiple different triggers or intervals simultaneously.
Like how?
Well, take that forklift again. You might need maintenance based on its operating hours and also based on calendar time, like an annual inspection. You can track both.
Multiple intervals for one asset. And the system watches those intervals automatically, like runtime hours?
Precisely. Business Central monitors those values, runtime, output, distance, duration, whatever you've set up. And when an interval threshold is met, it automatically flags that the task is due.
Okay, that's proactive.
That's the key. It pushes you away from just reacting to failures. You can see the linked tasks and the current interval readings right there on the Maintenance Manager item card for the equipment.
So you're not waiting for the breakdown call. The system flags it before it potentially becomes a problem. That seems like a huge win for minimizing downtime.
It really shifts the focus.
Now, with all this data, tasks, orders, intervals, how do you get a bird's eye view? Like, how is the overall maintenance operation doing?
Yeah, you need that overview. That's where the Maintenance Manager Role Center comes in. It's basically a dashboard on your Business Central home screen, tailored for maintenance.
A dedicated dashboard. What does it show?
The source says it displays key stuff, released work orders, finished ones, any tasks that are pending or overdue. It can even show trends in your workload over time. You see this on the Maintenance Manager homepage.
So like a quick snapshot of maintenance health.
Exactly. And the article suggests using this dashboard actively. Identify bottlenecks. Maybe you have a huge backlog of open orders.
Right, spot problems early.
And then you can adjust.
Yeah.
Maybe shift workload, or maybe even rethink the frequency of certain tasks based on the actual data you're seeing. Is that weekly check really necessary, or could it be bi-weekly?
So it supports continuous improvement. You use the data to optimize the plan.
That's the idea. It enabled that cycle of review and optimization. And just to quickly tie the features to benefits again.
Good idea, yeah.
Linking assets and tasks with intervals. That automatically flags upcoming work, prevents failures, integrating bombs and routing, standardizes procedures, allocates resources better, the planning worksheet, streamlines scheduling, less manual entry, better forecasting.
Right.
Maintenance order tracking gives you that execution proof and documentation. And the Role Center dashboard improves communication across the teams, planning, maintenance, operations.
And the big picture benefit, like the article says, is it's all inside Business Central.
Exactly. No separate system to manage. It simplifies operations, keeps data consistent across departments, whether you're managing, a fleet of trucks or complex factory machinery.
It keeps everything under one roof, digitally speaking.
And ultimately, this source kind of concludes that, look, a maintenance plan is only as good as its execution.
True enough.
Tools like this maintenance manager within BC, they provide the structure, the traceability, the automation you need to actually execute that plan effectively and, with more confidence.
Okay, so wrapping this up, we've basically explored how using Maintenance Manager inside Business Central can bring structure and efficiency to your maintenance. It's really about getting proactive, making equipment last longer, keeping things running smoothly.
All within that familiar BC environment.
Right. Which leads to, I guess, a final thought for you listening.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready to maybe move beyond just reacting to breakdowns, to embrace a more proactive strategy, one that aims to really maximize the life of your assets and cut down on those disruptive surprises?
It's really about taking control, isn't it? Managing your maintenance instead of letting failures manage your schedule. Something to think about.